Have you ever felt tired, even after resting? Not just physically tired, but mentally and emotionally exhausted, like your mind has been carrying too much for too long. Maybe small problems suddenly feel overwhelming. Maybe you feel less patient with people around you. Or maybe you just feel like you have nothing left to give emotionally. The truth is that emotional exhaustion can build up slowly, and many people don't realize they're experiencing it until their mind and body start sending clear warning signs. In today's video, we're going to talk about 8 signs that you may be emotionally drained. These signs are often easy to overlook, but recognizing them can help you understand what your mind might be going through. Welcome to Mental Health Simplified by HMHCF, where we talk about mental health in a simple, honest, and relatable way so we can all learn how to take better care of our minds. If you enjoy conversations about mental health, self-growth, and understanding your mind better, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss future content that can help you strengthen your mental well-being. Alright, let's start with the first sign that you might be emotionally drained. Sign 1. You feel constantly tired, even after resting. One of the most common signs of emotional exhaustion is feeling constantly tired, even when you've had enough sleep. This kind of tiredness is different from the normal fatigue that comes after a busy day. It feels deeper, like your mind and emotions are carrying more weight than they can comfortably handle. You might wake up in the morning already feeling drained, as if your energy never fully returned overnight. Emotional exhaustion often happens when your mind has been under pressure for a long period of time. Stress, responsibilities, unresolved emotions, and constant worrying can quietly drain your mental energy. Your brain is constantly processing thoughts and emotions, which means it rarely gets the chance to truly rest. Over time, this mental overload begins to show up as physical fatigue, making it harder to feel motivated or energized. When this kind of tiredness continues for days or weeks, it can begin affecting other areas of life. Work may feel harder, social interactions may feel exhausting, and even activities you once enjoyed might start to feel like too much effort. Recognizing this type of fatigue is important because it signals that your mind may need time to slow down, recover, and restore emotional balance. Sign 2. Small problems start to feel overwhelming. Another sign of emotional exhaustion is when small problems begin to feel much bigger than they normally would. Situations that used to feel manageable may suddenly feel frustrating or stressful. You might find yourself reacting more strongly to minor inconveniences, like a small mistake at work, a delayed message, or a change in plans. When your emotional energy is already low, your brain has fewer resources available to deal with challenges calmly. Even simple tasks can start to feel heavy because your mind is already overloaded. Instead of responding to problems with patience or clarity, you may feel irritated, anxious, or overwhelmed more quickly than usual. This doesn't mean you've suddenly become weak or incapable. It simply means your emotional reserves are running low. When emotional exhaustion builds up, the brain struggles to maintain the same level of balance and resilience. Learning to recognize this pattern can help you understand when your mind needs rest rather than more pressure. Sign 3. You lose interest in things you once enjoyed. Another sign that you may be emotionally drained is when you start losing interest in things that once brought you happiness or excitement. Activities that used to make you feel relaxed, inspired, or energized might suddenly feel uninteresting or even exhausting. This could include hobbies, spending time with friends, watching your favorite shows, or doing things that normally help you unwind after a long day. When emotional exhaustion builds up, your mind shifts into a kind of survival mode. Instead of focusing on enjoyment or creativity, your brain begins focusing only on getting through the day. As a result, the activities that once brought joy may not create the same emotional response anymore. It's not that those activities have suddenly become meaningless. It's that your mind is too overwhelmed to fully experience the enjoyment they once provided. Over time, this loss of interest can make life feel dull or repetitive. You may start feeling like you're simply going through the motions of daily life without the same sense of excitement or motivation. Recognizing this change is important because it can be a signal that your emotional energy is running low and that your mind may need time, rest, and support to recover its natural balance. Sign 4. You feel irritated more easily. Another common sign of emotional exhaustion is becoming irritated more easily than usual. You might notice that small things begin to annoy you quickly, even situations that normally wouldn't bother you very much. A simple comment, a minor inconvenience, or a small mistake might suddenly trigger frustration or impatience. This happens because emotional exhaustion reduces the mind's ability to regulate emotions effectively. When your emotional resources are already stretched thin, your brain has less capacity to stay calm and balanced. As a result, reactions may become quicker and stronger than intended. It may feel like your patience has become shorter, even though you don't actually want to react that way. Feeling more irritable doesn't mean you're becoming a negative person. In many cases, it simply means your mind has been dealing with too much pressure for too long. When emotional fatigue builds up, the brain struggles to maintain emotional control. Taking time to slow down, rest, and reduce stress can help restore emotional stability and bring back the patience and calmness that may currently feel difficult to access. Sign 5. You start avoiding people. When someone is emotionally drained, social interactions can start to feel more exhausting than enjoyable. You may begin avoiding conversations, declining invitations, or withdrawing from people you normally enjoy spending time with. Even talking to close friends or family members might feel like it requires more energy than you currently have. This doesn't necessarily mean you no longer care about the people around you. In many cases, emotional exhaustion simply makes it harder to engage socially because your mind is already dealing with too much internally. Listening, responding, and being emotionally present in conversations all require mental energy. When that energy is low, withdrawing from social situations may feel like the only way to protect your remaining strength. Over time, however, isolation can make emotional exhaustion feel even heavier. Humans naturally benefit from supportive relationships and meaningful connections. When emotional fatigue causes someone to distance themselves from others, they may lose an important source of comfort and encouragement. Recognizing this pattern can help someone gently reconnect with supportive people who can provide understanding and emotional support during difficult periods. Sign 6. You struggle to concentrate. Another sign that emotional exhaustion may be affecting you is difficulty concentrating. Tasks that once felt simple or routine may suddenly require much more effort to complete. You might find yourself rereading the same information multiple times, forgetting small details, or losing focus in the middle of something important. This happens because emotional stress uses a large portion of the brain's mental energy. When your mind is constantly processing worries, responsibilities, or unresolved emotions, it leaves fewer resources available for concentration and clear thinking. Your brain is essentially multitasking between external responsibilities and internal emotional pressure. As a result, productivity and focus may begin to decline. This can create additional frustration because you may feel like you're not performing at your usual level. Understanding that emotional exhaustion can directly affect concentration helps explain why this happens. When your mind receives the rest and emotional support it needs, mental clarity and focus can gradually return. Sign 7. You feel emotionally numb. One of the more subtle signs of emotional exhaustion is feeling emotionally numb. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by emotions, you might feel the opposite, a sense of emptiness or disconnection from your feelings. Situations that would normally make you happy, excited, or even upset may not seem to create much emotional reaction at all. This numbness can develop when the mind has been processing intense emotions for a long time without enough recovery. In a way, the brain tries to protect itself by reducing emotional sensitivity. By lowering emotional responses, the mind attempts to shield itself from further emotional strain. While this response can temporarily reduce emotional overload, it can also make life feel less meaningful or engaging. When emotions become muted, experiences may start to feel distant or less fulfilling. Recognizing emotional numbness as a sign of exhaustion can help someone understand that their mind may simply need rest, care, and time to reconnect with its natural emotional balance. Sign 8. You feel like you have nothing left to give. The final sign of emotional exhaustion is the feeling that you simply have nothing left to give. You may feel mentally drained from constantly supporting others, meeting responsibilities, or dealing with ongoing stress. Even when you want to help someone or stay positive, it may feel like your emotional energy has been completely depleted. This feeling often develops when someone spends a long period of time giving their time, attention, and emotional support without receiving enough rest or balance in return. Over time, constantly being on for others can leave the mind feeling empty and overwhelmed. The emotional reserves that once felt strong may begin to feel exhausted. When someone reaches this point, it becomes extremely important to slow down and focus on self-care and recovery. Emotional energy, just like physical energy, needs time to recharge. Taking steps to rest, Set boundaries, and care for your own mental well-being can gradually restore the emotional strength needed to reconnect with life and the people around you. Now you have it: 8 signs you are emotionally drained. Emotional exhaustion is something many people experience at some point in their lives, but it often goes unnoticed because the signs can appear slowly and quietly. Feeling constantly tired, losing interest in things you once enjoyed, becoming easily irritated, or struggling to concentrate are not just random feelings. In many cases, they are signals from your mind that you have been carrying too much emotional weight for too long. The important thing to remember is that experiencing emotional exhaustion does not mean something is wrong with you. It simply means your mind has been working very hard and may need time to rest, recover, and restore balance. Just like the body needs sleep and care after physical stress, your emotional well-being also needs attention and support. Learning to recognize these signs early can help you take steps to protect your mental health before the exhaustion becomes overwhelming. If this video helped you understand the signs of emotional exhaustion, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Mental Health Simplified by HMHCF for more simple and honest conversations about mental health. And if you know someone who might be silently dealing with emotional exhaustion, consider sharing this video with them. Sometimes understanding what we are feeling is the first step toward healing and taking better care of our minds.